Hey guys, so I'm just gonna have some World of Warcraft stuff playing. This is a compilation of like all the cinematics, so it's running for 30 minutes. Hopefully, I won't be talking for 31 minutes and 17 seconds. But yeah, I was gonna do some kind of Warcraft video, but yeah, I can't find myself to do it. I mean, okay. So the state of the game, I've been hearing a lot of people that say that Blizzard once again is just kind of trying to rush through this expansion. Um, they feel like things aren't going the way they want, apparently. Um, Now, I haven't really played much of Shadowlands. I leveled up my Demon Hunter, and that was pretty much it. I haven't done any of the dungeons. I haven't done Torghast. I basically when I log in, I'm just trying to grind to make gold for game time. So I'm pretty much in Sholazar Basin a lot of the time. So, current state of the game, not too familiar with, but a lot of the people I've seen are just basically people are getting tired. Um, you know, World of Warcraft has been around since 2004, and I think a lot of people, I mean, they were kids, teenagers, and now they're young adults, they have families and this and that. Obviously, they still have a passion for the game if they're still logging in every day. But I think the direction that Blizzard's going for the most part is, I mean, I remember logging in and I wasn't a champion, I wasn't a commander, I wasn't savior of Azeroth, I wasn't the chosen one. I was just a traveler. We were going to all these great places and learning about the lore of the land, meeting these fantastical characters like what we saw with Tauren, giant cow people. Um, and it was more of a sense of, we were facing a big bad, but most of the game was exploring the areas and learning about the zones you were in. But now it's some overarching grand scheme of, oh, now we've got the Shadowlands, and then Jailer, who is this big bad, and he's trying to escape the Shadowlands and become, you know you know break the machinery of death, and Sylvanas is working with him now, and there's the old ones who we don't know anything about, but we're slowly revealing things about them. And this, it's, I mean, yeah, it's great to have a story, and Burning Crusade definitely had a great story. um Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, I mean, Wrath of the Lich King was by far the best expansion. Not only did it have 11 million legitimate players who were actually playing because they wanted to play. Nowadays they're like, oh well, if you pay for this much game time, you get a free mount. No, it was 11 million legitimate people. Why? Because Wrath of the Lich King was amazing. And I cannot wait for them to say, hey guys, Wrath of the Lich King Classic. I mean, Classic, like Vanilla, has been out for what, a year and a half, 2 years? And now Burning Crusade will be out probably in the summer, sometime this summer. So in another year and a half or so, Wrath of the Lich King Classic, which I cannot wait. I was playing early in BC, but it wasn't until Wrath that I really, really got into the game. And that's one reason why I go to Sholazar Basin all the time. Not only is it a great place to farm, because Saronite and that stuff is still really expensive. Titanium, still one of the most expensive materials in the game, or metals in the game. Not to mention the music, the atmosphere. I mean, you look at Sholazar Basin, I mean, the music there was so amazing that that's the music they used when you were put on hold, when you called customer service. Yes, back in the day, you were able to call Blizzard customer service and ask questions, and if you had a problem with your account, or whatever. And when they put you on hold, it was that Sholazar Basin music. The that music, yeah, that's what you heard when you were on hold, and it was amazing. So when I hear that music, very nostalgic. I love it. Another place people remember from Wrath of the Lich King, because even now it is so unique, Crystal Song Forest. If you look in the game, there is nowhere else in that game that uses the assets from Crystal Song Forest. And I mean just the forest itself, like the trees. There's nowhere else in the game. Even now with like somewhere like Ardenweald and stuff like that, Ardenweald uses a lot of stuff from Val Shara, the Emerald Dream, stuff like that. But in Crystal Song Forest, that was 100% pure originality, and even now, how many years later? That was 2008. It still hasn't been, the assets still haven't been used. And the first time you walk through Crystal Song Forest, say you were like me and you decided not to fly, and you wanted to kind of experience everything on the ground. Walking through Crystal Song Forest for the first time and looking up and seeing these trees that aren't really trees, they're crystal, and you see like these different hues of purple slowly working to like this bright white, and it shines, and there's great, it was the most beautiful thing in the game at the time. And in my opinion, yes, Ardenweald is gorgeous and stuff, but wait, if you're even whether you're below or flying from above, especially when you have good frames, because I'm flying above Crystal Song Forest with 140 frames, so everything is nice and crisp and everything, and you're looking down at this forest made of crystalline trees, and it's just the most gorgeous thing I've ever seen. But then after that, everyone's pretty much said that Wrath of the Lich King was the last good expansion. Now, people don't like to admit it, but a lot of people do like Mists of Pandaria. I'm one of them. I love Mists of Pandaria. The storyline was great. The characters were great. It showed that Blizzard could take something like an April Fool's joke, like, oh yeah, we're going to be releasing Pandaren. I mean, Pandaren had already been in the game with Chen. Chen Stormstoked. But for the longest time, people were teasing, oh yeah, the Pandaren going to be erased, play, and blah blah blah. But it never happened. And then finally, the joke became reality. The Pandaren were released. You could play as a monk. Pandaria was made into this actual land, and no one denies that Mists of Pandaria was, everyone agrees it was a good expansion. What people have a complaint about was the finale of it. Now, Siege of Orgrimmar, great raid, being able to take down Garrosh and all that, great raid. But you can only take so much of that great raid before it gets old. We sat with that raid for, what was it, a year and a half? It was like 18 months we had that freaking raid. So it wasn't the expansion that people had a problem with. It was the fact that we had a content drought for 18 months. That is what people were complaining about. It wasn't the expansion itself, because people were enjoying it. You had great PvP arenas, you had great storyline, you had the whole thing with Wrathion, and getting your legendary cloak upgraded and shit like that. And it was fun. You had the little mini scenarios where it's like 3 people go in, and not only can you do it on normal, there's also heroic settings on it. They were introducing, I believe, was it Mists of Pandaria where they introduced Mythic? Maybe? I think it might have been Mists of Pandaria, right? With Mythic. So there's 3 settings for, raiders to go. Not to mention, I think Raid Finder was also introduced. No, wait, no, that was in Cataclysm. Yeah. But, that's the only thing about that expansion people were honestly complaining about, was content drought. Same thing with Warlords of Draenor. Same exact thing. You would think that they would have learned from the previous expansion, but no. Mist of Pandaria comes out. It's a great expansion. And then content drought for 18 months. Warlords of Draenor, even though it wasn't that great of an expansion, I'm not going to say it was bad. Once again, now, the art team is always on point. Say what you will about Blizzard and their writing and all that, but you cannot deny that the art team at Blizzard, they are always on point. You can, when you walk through these areas, you can tell they poured their heart and souls into these areas. So we're not bashing the art team. The art team is always up to snuff, always on point, and every area design is absolutely gorgeous. Even if it's something like, I don't know, the Dread Waste, and it's so fucking depressing, but it's depressing in a beautiful way. You see the remnants of a Shah, his breath and blood just all over the place, and just like blackened. But then there's like this bright white part of it, and it just kind of rises up, and there's kind of like not smoke, but like essence just flowing out of the ground, and it's gorgeous. So the art team, like this stuff, no one's bashing this. This is absolutely amazing, and this is still one of my favorite opening cinematics. Um, so no one's bashing the art team. Our team is always on point. Like I said, always up to snuff, and they are just great at what they do. They have the best of the best. People can look at Sony, like Square Enix and stuff like that. They're good, but they're good at making anime characters look more realistic. But Blizzard has gotten to the point where you can see every individual sweat drop and every pore perfectly on these characters. It is amazing. And it only gets better as they go along. I mean, look at the hair. Just like the hair on his chest. I mean, it's just... But it's the same thing with Warlords. We get in there, and Hellfire Citadel, great raid, fighting Archimonde, getting to the last stage, and or moreover in Heroic and Mythic, where you're kind of taken into the Twisting Nether, and you gotta defeat him there. So many people died. But there are a lot of farming groups for that, because you would get the Warden, the Grove Warden. Jen Stormstout. Mr. Pandaria. I mean, he's such a badass. And but 18 months, I think it was like 18 around. I think Siege of Orgrimmar and Mr. Hellfire Citadel were like around 18, 15 months or something like that. So you're basically sitting around for a year with the same raid. So people didn't like that. I love this expansion. I love the cinematics. I remember in Mists of Pandaria, like the first time you see a Shah, when like the Horde and Alliance are going at it, and the Jade statue gets knocked over, and then you see this just massive just swirl of darkness and just come up, and you gotta not fight it, but like hit the little things on the ground. Just the sheer size of that thing was like, wow, they've really got something good going. But then you see this stuff, like I said, design team, amazing. It's just absolutely gorgeous. They really did they really did great when they took inspiration from China. They really respected the culture and stuff like that. What was... Yeah, so, but Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, and then we have Legion. People were excited, obviously, for Legion, because you got the Demon Hunter, and people had wanted Demon Hunters. There's a few races and classes and everything. A few of the classes people want were Demon Hunter, Monks, Bards, Tinkers, there's Necromancer, which is basically a Warlock and Death Knight in one, really. But so we got our Demon Hunters, and the expansion itself was okay. I think people had a lot of problem with the artifact system, the complete randomness of it. But in return, yeah, look, the Gul'dan, just the skin, and just I just love. I could sit here and we'll just watch these cinematics all day, just about how gorgeous they are. But yeah. Uh, Legion was okay. I mean, when you have a class that's like a demon hunter where you can dash forward like, twice, and you can glide, and it takes away the whole meaning of the goblin gliders. You, you had that. You had glide. You had the double jump, which means you could jump higher. So you have all these people going out of bounds in so many places, and that's one reason why people like the demon hunters. Not because, you know, oh yeah, it's great. It's not like they were that much stronger. They were versatile. They were quick. They were, pretty strong for the most part. But they had a great toolkit there. But most of the people, once they actually started playing, it's like, wow, we can go out of bounds in a lot of areas. A lot of areas that people have wanted to get out of bounds in, we can now get out of bounds in. But the raids were pretty good. The Nighthold. It was just awkward that Gul'dan was made to be this, huge important character, and then like what, the second raid, we had the Emerald Nightmare, and then we had the Nighthold, and like the second raid is like he's taken out. Which actually, let me go back to Warlords of Draenor. Warlords of Draenor. We're there to take out the Warlords of Draenor. And some of them are taken out, like Ner'zhul, who is a huge lore figure. He was bound to the Helm of Domination, or rather just the armor of the Lich King. He was the Lich King, thanks to Kill Jaden basically ripping his soul out, and, torturing him, and stuffed it into the helm. I mean, yeah, and also, look, seriously, like, every drop of sweat, every pore, just amazing. But, yeah, Ner'zhul. He was the reason why why Draenor became Outland, from fucking opening too many portals and essentially ripped the fucking planet apart. And then we go into a 5-man dungeon and take the guy out. We take the guy out in a 5-man dungeon. A Warlord of Draenor, Ner'zhul, the Lich King. Well, he wasn't Lich King in that timeline, but he becomes the Lich King. He's the one who tore the planet apart, and we take him out in a 5-man dungeon. Like, and then we have Dire Maul, which pretty interesting of a dungeon. But then we have Kargath. Now, another Warlord of Draenor. Not only that, he is a complete fucking badass. If you watched the little stories that they did on him before the game came out, Kargath is a badass. First boss of the raid, he gets taken out like a bitch. So we have all these great characters being taken out like little bitches. Now, Blackhand, luckily enough, Blackrock Foundry was actually pretty great. But, respectfully, they had him as the last boss. Rightfully so. He was the head honcho. He was a Warlord of Draenor. He was very important in the history of the forming of the Horde, and he was War Chief of the Horde, and this and that, so he was given the proper place as the final boss. He wasn't taken out in the first fight like a total bitch. Then we have Gromosh, Grom just completely turning to our side for whatever reason. We never see what happens in between. He's all like, I'm gonna enslave Draenor and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden he's being questioned. He's been ensnared by Gul'dan. We see it during the cinematic, the cutscene for Hellfire Citadel, and basically he's like, oh yeah, they're gonna cut you down and clean their blades of your blood, and they will fight and they will win and blah blah blah, and then suddenly he's there helping us in Hellfire Citadel with Archimonde, and it's like And at the end, he's like, "Yeah, we will never be slaves. Ah, we're free." It's like, dude, you're the one who set all this into motion mostly. You wanted to enslave everyone, and now you're standing here like, Draenor is free again." We never see what happens in between, like what makes him come to our side. Um, so, but lazy writing has definitely got hold of Blizzard, and it seems like they're just trying to speed up their expansions now. You know, even before the first patch comes out, you know, people already start saying that, yeah, they're already, you know, talking about pushing past, we may not even have this patch, or, you know, they were planning this, but that may not even come out because they want to get to the next expansion. You know, I think Blizzard's gotten to the point where it's like, oh, well, people don't like the systems we put in place and this and that, and well, I guess we should just, you know, forget all of this and just move to the next expansion. And that's why people said the game's been dead since, like, you know, Cataclysm. Well, after um, Wrath of the Lich King, because they don't seem to care. I mean, Activision, ever since it was became Activision Blizzard, you know, you see more transactions and, you know, the microtransactions, and more of them to push to get it out there for numbers and for stockholders and shit like that. You know, it just, Blizzard seems to forget sometimes that the players are what made the game what it is. You know, it's the players that keep the lights on. You know, they can say about stockholders and this and that and fun. It's the players that keep the shit afloat. Since 2004, the players have been passionate about this game. So to kind of keep making expansions and putting these systems in place that no one seems to like the last expansion, the Heart of Azeroth, and no one liked it. It was such a stupid idea, and instead of saying, you know what, we'll completely overhaul it, or this, they're like, no, well, sorry, nothing we can do. We can make little changes, but that's all we're gonna really do to it. But no one liked it, and there's people saying, you know, complaining about covenants, because essentially when you really look at Blizzard and what they do, it's all the same thing every expansion. You know, they need to look at things like Final Fantasy and stuff like that. I mean, people have been asking for player housing for a while. They're like, oh, well, you have garrisons. Well, no, garrisons are not player housing. In fact, I just did a reaction the other day. Genshin Impact is releasing player housing where you can make your own little area. You got like 3 lands to choose from. It's going to be time gated for the most part, which is great because it gives people something to work towards. You're not going to be like, oh, well, you have all access to everything on one day. No, it's time gated. So the more fancy things are going to be a little harder to get to. And that's great because it gives people to log in and play the game and explore and get stronger in the game, because obviously some things might be stronger to fight. So he's like, oh, well, my team here clearly isn't up to par. Let me level them up. Let me get the materials. But you can customize the inside. You can customize the outside. You can have your friends over there. I mean, it's what player housing should be. Fully customizable. You know, you can, down to the animals that are there. If you want nothing but cats there, you can be the crazy cat person. You can have 20-something cats roaming around. If you are a dog person, you can have 20-something dogs roaming around. You can have the cranes, you can have the boars. It's fully customizable. And that's a free-to-play game. Blizzard has not listened to anyone. You know, people keep asking, to this day, we want player housing. And to this day, they're like, no, you got player housing. It's the garrisons. No, the garrisons were ass. Pretty much Warlords of Draenor, if you weren't out there questing, it basically became World of Warcraft, Warlords of the Garrison, because you spent most of your time in the garrison, at the freaking mission boards, gathering herbs, gathering ore, whatever the case may be. You were there all the time. Especially once you've done all your questing and each zone was all done. You, so between uh, Hellfire Citadel and Garrison, people found themselves like, oh well, I might as well just stay in my garrison. I don't have a need to go out into the world. I found all the treasures and I've done all this, but I really don't feel like doing Hellfire Citadel for 15 months. So I'm just gonna stay in my garrison. Um, so I think Blizzard's gotten to the point where, I mean, I don't know if it's lack of interest and they just want to focus on other things. I don't know if it's just because it's been a shift in teams where a lot of the old guys are leaving. You got new fresh blood in there. I don't know, but I don't. It just seems like they don't have much of a passion. Even when they present the games now, even when they make these announcements, they just. I mean, they've stopped with the live streams, stuff like that, and when they give the announcements, they just look so bored. Like they have no passion left. And if you want people to have passion for your game, you need to have passion for that game yourself. But when you have Ian or whoever it is come out, and they're just talking like this the entire time. Oh yeah, we have some really great stuff for you guys. And this is like at BlizzCon or something where it's hundreds of thousands of people there. And you're just like, yeah, we've got some great stuff lined up for you guys. We're going to a place, magic and wonder. Ooh, look, covenants and death and ooh, Lich King. And, like I said, if they don't have passion for their product anymore, why do they expect any of us to have a passion for it? I love the game, I really do, but I just don't have the passion to play it anymore because it's just not what it used to be. And you could say, well, that's just part of getting old. But when I was playing Wrath of the Lich King, I was 21 years old. I wasn't a kid, I wasn't a teenager. I was 21 years old. So it's not like I've gotten so much older to where, I've just lost the interest. No. I think they've lost the interest. They've 2004. They've been going on with it since 2004. I think just a lot of the older guys are just getting tired. Even if they still like it, it's clear they don't have a passion for it anymore. Hence all the fucking stupid microtransactions, all the reason, giving people reason like, oh, here's a free mount. The one we just got, I forget the name of it. The giant freaking tree changes colors during the seasons. Like right now, it's full bloom and it's, green. In the winter, it's all like frosty looking. And, but here's some free mounts, and oh, if you pay for this amount of game time, you'll get a free mount. Yeah, but you gotta pay for 3 months. So it's clear that they just don't have a passion for it anymore. And it's a shame because people love this game. But yeah. That's that's the long short of it. TLDR. That's really why I'm not making many Warcraft videos now. It's just not that interesting anymore to make videos about. Like I said, maybe once BC comes out, I will. And I definitely will once they start release Wrath of the Lich King, but that's not going to be for like another year or so. But it is what it is. I really hope over there they get back to the path. Like I said, the art team, no one's questioning them. They're always on par, but the writings become lazy and kind of apparent, pretty obvious what's going to happen sometimes. Just the mechanics and just design choices for some of the systems are very poor. Just if you have to look at stuff like Final Fantasy and other MMOs, it's okay. It's okay to get inspiration from other games. Um, but it is what it is. But anyways, that's it for me. I've been talking for 30 minutes already. And so, that's all. If you still play World of Warcraft, do you play out of sense of passion, or do you just, oh, I've been playing for the past 15 years, so I feel obligated to log in every day? Let me know what you guys think about the current state of the game. Thumbs up, thumbs down, come subscribe, all that great stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.